Okay, so in the most recent Nintendo Direct, the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD was announced to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch on the 16th of July this year. Now this game has already caused quite a lot of controversy for quite a few reasons, and so in this video I'm going to be talking about why the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is a problem. Alright, so the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword originally released on the Wii on the 18th of November in 2011, so it's been nearly a decade since the game's launch. Every single copy of Skyward Sword came with a CD that was made up of 45 minutes of Zelda music, and a bundle for Skyward Sword was also released on this day. Not only did the bundle come with a limited edition golden wiimote that you could only get if you bought this bundle, but it still came with the CD, and all this was only $10 more than buying the standalone game. But now in 2021, Skyward Sword's gonna be coming to the Switch and you'll have to buy it for $80 or $60 if you're American. Now this is just really shitty of Nintendo, as in 2011 when Skyward Sword was a brand new game, it was $80. And now nearly a whole decade later, the game is being sold for the exact same price. Like, what the fuck? Why have Nintendo not dropped the price of a nearly decade old game? You know how earlier in the video I spoke about how there was a Skyward Sword bundle that came with a limited edition wiimote and was only $10 more than the base game? Well, instead of Skyward Sword releasing on the Switch with a bundle, Zelda-themed Joy-Cons are releasing on the 16th of July alongside the game, but you'll have to buy them separately for $120. How the fuck did we go from getting a brand new Zelda game and a limited edition Wiimote and a musical CD for $90 in 2011 to getting a port of a Zelda game and Zelda Joy-Cons for $200 in 2021? This price is just pretty awful, and what's sad is that this isn't even the worst thing that Nintendo have done over the past year. You've got the 3D All-Stars situation, Nintendo trying to kill off Smash Bros. Melee, and now this. I just want to know why Nintendo are making such anti-consumer decisions. Like, it's just fucking weird. Then to make it even worse, around a week ago Nintendo announced on Twitter and YouTube that on the 16th of July when Skyward Sword HD releases, that an Amiibo would be released alongside the game. At surface level, this isn't a problem at all. It's actually pretty cool that Nintendo was still making Amiibo. And this Amiibo in particular looks bloody beautiful. But in the reveal trailer for the Skyward Sword Amiibo, we were told that whenever you use the Amiibo when you're adventuring on the surface, that you can return to the sky and vice versa. Now this is kind of where the problem starts. Nintendo could have just made this a basic feature in the game that you could have maybe unlocked through finding an item. But instead, you will need to pay $35 for this basic feature, which is just bullshit. Imagine if Nintendo made it so that you needed to use an Amiibo in Breath of the Wild to freely teleport around the map. It would have just been really dumb, and everyone would have hated it. And well, this is basically the same thing, but in Skyward Sword you will not have to imagine it, as this is actually what is going to happen. And why does this Amiibo cost $15 more than regular Amiibos? Like, yes, it does look cool, but where is the extra $15 coming from? Like, what? Now that I've gone over why I think the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is overpriced or just a flat out scam, I want to talk about the HD part of the game's title. A lot of the time when games are ported over to the Switch, they either have the word Definitive, Deluxe, or HD added to their title. For Definitive and Deluxe ports, they'll have content in them whether that be levels, characters, or features that weren't in the original game. For ports that have HD in their title, it's supposed to mean that they're a better looking or higher definition version of the game that is being ported. An example of a very good HD port is Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. Link's Awakening released on the Game Boy in 1993, and obviously in today's world the game doesn't look that good. Then when Link's Awakening released on the Switch in 2019, the game looked 10 times better than it did on the Game Boy, and so this is a good HD remake. Now, a great example of a bad HD port is Skyward Sword HD. As I said earlier, this game was released on the Wii in 2011, and graphically speaking, for its time, it wasn't anything insane, but it was not bad either. Now, in the reveal trailer for Skyward Sword on the Switch, the difference between the two versions is barely noticeable. The video I have playing over this part of the video is the difference between the two games, and so I'll let you judge whether or not you think the games are graphically very different, but I personally think that the difference is not very significant. Yes, I do think that the Switch version of the game does look better than it did on the Wii, but not by much at all. And considering that the Switch version of the game is being released at the same price that it was on the Wii, and that this is a HD remake, I just expected more. So to summarize all the shit that I just said, I basically think that the not-so-HD remake of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for the Switch is overpriced and lazy, but it's a Zelda game, so I'm sure that it will sell really well. And so there is no point in me complaining, as I'm probably still gonna buy it as I've never even played this game, but it just seems as though Nintendo put zero effort into this port. And with all that said, it's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments if you're going to pick up Skyward Sword for the Switch, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Nintendo content, and yeah, thank you for watching.